Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Chou Allegra, well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work and businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well-being and belonging together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so glad to have you join us here on this other episode of the Chat with Chou podcast. And this month, I'm actually interviewing some friends who I have a lot in common with, different lifestyles, different businesses per se, different maybe hobbies, but we all can identify or do identify as people with disabilities. So today I have a friend with me, Kellina. Could you mind just introducing yourself, letting us know who you are and where you're joining from?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. And hi, everybody. My name is Kellina Powell, aka the Deaf Queen Boss. I am a deaf coach. I'm an author, four-time author, actually. So I do have four books out. And I am also a CEO. So I do have two businesses. So I'm also going to be currently starting a real estate company as well. And I'm a huge advocate for the deaf community. So I teach people how to be inclusive for the deaf community. And that's about me.
Beautiful, beautiful. You are busy doing great work, right? And so I'm just curious, and maybe you can also help our audience know here, like, how did you get into all of this? How did you get started? What came first? Because you do diverse things here.
Good question. So to be honest, everybody, like, it just happened for me. So
Mhm.
honestly, truly, a friend of mine asked me to go to a networking event. And because she's a little shy, I'm a very bubbly
Mhm.
personality. I'm very bubbly. I love talking to people, meeting new people as well.
Yeah.
And so I went to a networking event and met this lady who happened to be a teacher
Wow.
for a deaf school, but she does supply work and stuff like that. And so she noticed that I wear hearing aids. So she's like, oh my God, like you're hard of hearing. Like, oh my God, I teach deaf students. Like, I'm like, oh my God, no, wait. So we had a great conversation. And she's like, why don't you just come and speak for my students? And I was like, wait, what? And so I never been asked that before. And I was
Mhm.
honestly, you guys, I think I was 22 at
Mhm.
the time when I did my first speaking at a school. And that's how I became international speaker because of my history with the school. And then, teachers referred me to different schools, so which was very cool. And
Mhm.
then I got into a podcast because I actually hired a mentor as well who taught me that I should also be out there visibly. So that way when
Mhm.
people look you up, they can find your work. And
Mhm.
so I did 150 podcasts in 1 year.
Wow.
Yes. So I like really get a little crazy, but it just happened. A lot of people kept hearing about me and people like, hey, you can come on my podcast. So it's all about networking, to be
Mhm.
honest,
Mhm.
and creating relationship with people. And that's really how I got started with everything. And then a lot of people continue asking me to collaborate on their books. So
Mhm.
that's how I became four-time author as well. So it's really genuinely about networking.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it because sometimes it's the other people around us who notice the brilliance in us, right? And they start
Yeah,
tapping into that brilliance, like, oh, who, me? And then the more you say yes, the more opportunities open up, and the more you continue to say yes, the more good things come your way. So I'm so excited to, to hear that, and also thank you for bringing up the power, if you want, of networking, right? Relationships matters. Relationship
exactly.
matters. And many of us do a lot of things because there are people supporting us, doing it with us, pushing us, loving on us, right? So that we can do
Exactly.
all those things. So thank you for bringing that up. And I'm sure it's not always been easy, right? Just being an entrepreneur is not easy. Being a woman, it's not easy. Being someone with a disability is not easy. And trying to combine all of those and make the impact that you're making, I'm sure there've been some challenges. So can you touch little bit on that? What are some challenges that you face and what keeps you going?
Yeah, so the challenge I face is rejection. right? A
Yeah.
lot of people, this happened during my journey, actually, you guys, and it still happens to this day. I'm not going to lie.
Mm.
It was very difficult to ask for accommodation.
Yeah.
That's number two. So the very first thing is rejection. I reached out to people. They said, no, we don't know how to have a conversation with you. And some people just judge you based off what you've been called, right? So my brand name is Depth Queen Boss. So people think, oh, I cannot communicate. And so that is something that I went through a lot, especially during my beginning of my journey. And number two, asking for accommodation. Asking for accommodation was not easy. I know a lot of people like, oh, I can't have you on podcast because I don't know how to put caption, or I don't want to learn about it. And so I met a lot of people who just say that to me, like, I'm sorry, but we can't have you on a podcast. We don't
Mm.
know how to add this, and they don't even want to ask me like, hey, do you know how to do it? Can you just
Exactly.
so I did experience that during my journey. It wasn't easy, especially when I was young too, right? A lot of
Mhm.
teachers didn't accommodate me very well. You would think that teachers
Mhm.
know how to accommodate. Um, Unfortunately, that's not the case. So I did struggle a lot
Yeah.
through my journey, asking people how to be acceptable for me, and it sucks because not everybody is willing to learn, right?
Mm.
And so that's something I had to learn how to accept who I am as a person for asking for help, right? And it was not easy, it did make a huge toll on my mental health, right? It's like, why did God give me this special gift?
Mm.
Why would I give him this gift? Like, and my grandmother at the time, she goes to church every Sunday, and I did not like going to church because I used to sleep a lot in church,
Mhm.
and so as a little kid, I don't know,
Yeah.
and so I remember my grandma said, I know you struggled a lot with your
Mm.
hearing loss. Why don't you pray to God to give you that door? And I'm like, what door? And so my grandma was trying to say for me to ask God to keep that door open,
Mm.
to show me, why do I have this? What door are you giving me? What direction are you
Mm.
providing to me? So that was something I had to figure out with God. And why did He give me this gift? And so that's when I realized it, that because I have a voice and I'm a very strong woman, and I know how to have a conversation with people, especially uncomfortable conversation. And so I think I got my answer. And I think that's why I've been doing this for 3 years, well, actually going to 4 years now.
Beautiful.
Um, because I'm a very strong woman and I know how to approach people. And,
Mhm.
so yeah, so that was the challenges I faced through my journey and my life.
Yeah, but here you are, my friend, right? You're here defying all odds, right? Pushing every barrier and doing, great things and changing lives in the process. And so thank you for your tenacity, thank you for your resilience, your perseverance. Because you push through, you're changing, the narrative, right? For a lot of people in the deaf community and disability community at large. And what you shared is so true that all of us can probably relate to that when people dismiss you because of what they see on paper, whether it's a diagnosis or, what they know of you because based on the box that they put you in. And then they
Exactly.
miss seeing all that you are because that's part of us, but it's not all of us. There's so many, much more, and so much more to who we are as individuals than just a diagnosis, than just, a disability, than just a challenge per se. But I even love how you changed that narrative even when you talked about your what God gave you this gift and never looking at it as a challenge, not looking as a burden, that what
Yes, yeah.
society saw as a burden. And it's like, oh, we can't have you in the podcast because we don't know how to communicate with you. You saw it as a gift. And and here you are telling us you did 150 podcasts in 1 year, right? So they're definitely, and we're here doing a podcast, you're now communicating just fine because there are tools and resources out there that helps with that, right? Like you have closed captioning of going on, and I'm able to hear you just fine. And you mentioned with when the teacher you first met with that teacher a few years back, she noticed that you had hearing aids, and so you have technology, the assistive technology that's helping you live a full life.
Exactly.
And people instead of asking you, well, how can we make this a good experience for you? Like I asked in the beginning, right? I asked that to
Exactly.
everyone I meet, whether it's a counseling session, a coaching, a training, is how can I make this a good experience for you? That way, if someone needs any support, that gives them the permission, to
ask for that. And I'm already telling them, hey, I'm here to support you, not whether you have a disability or not. I'm here to make this a good experience, whatever that means to you. Right. So it's little things like that, right? It opens up if we can just be willing to, as a society, willing to see in people more than what meets the eye, then we realize, wow, all of us have something to contribute. You are contributing so much to society, to the world as at large, and people missing that because of their own biases, because of their own ableism, right? Let's call it what it is. So I'm glad you did not give up. I'm glad you keep pushing through. And I know you say almost 4 years, it's going to keep continuing, right? We're going to keep talking about this and seeing all your good work out there. This is only the beginning. This is only
Thank
the
you.
beginning. Yeah. So you do a lot, right? And I'm just curious, how do you balance it all? How do you make it all work, for you so that you can keep doing it?
Yeah, very easy. Time management is my number one for everybody. Like, if
Yes.
you do not know how to time manage yourself,
Mhm.
you're gonna be all over the place. So Monday to Friday, I focus strictly on the business, focus on
Mm.
that, and Saturday, Sunday, I make sure I take time off. That is no exception. And Sunday is my self care day, which means I go get my
Mhm.
nails done, get my toes done, pedicure, all that. Yes, ladies, go get yourself clean. It's summertime now. So that's how I balance everything. And also too, I do have a great team supporting me in the back. I make sure that everybody is being treated fairly. I don't like to overwhelm my team, myself, because
Mhm.
it's not going to benefit us in the long run, right? And I value mental health very, like it's my
Mhm.
thing. Like I value mental health so much, and it's mental health month too. And so yeah, that's how I really balance, honestly. And I always make sure that I schedule everything. If I need to take a nap, I will take a nap. I am not the person like, okay, I have to finish this. No, if I'm really tired, I'm tired. I listen to my body. And so that's also how I balance everything. Time management, every weekend, I'm off. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm spending time with my family, no business work. And yeah, so that's how I balance everything.
Beautiful. There's a lot of intentionality in what you do, right? It's like you say mental health is important to you, so you do everything to kind of preserve it, protect it, right? Maintain it. And so that it's so good to hear. And because of the intentionality, you're able to create a system that works for you, routine that works for you, right? Rather, like you said, it's working Monday for Friday, and then using your weekends for self-care, for relaxation, time with family, and being intentional about that. But I also love what you shared about your team. Everybody, anybody, all of us need support, disability or not.
Exactly.
No human being is an island. We think about it, even for these meetings we do on Zoom here. It doesn't matter who is coming, coming on the meeting. In the meeting, think about all of us. We need technology, right? You have to be able to access whether it's a phone, a tablet, a computer. That is some kind of support, right? It's technology,
Exactly.
technology related support. And you probably need internet to be able to access that, right? Do you have internet? Most of us, if you're paying for it, using a Wi-Fi in the community, that is support. Even if you're at the library or the coffee shop, that is support
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
coffee shop provided for you without even knowing it. We take things for granted. We don't realize that. Our watches probably reminded us what time it was. Maybe somebody woke you up this morning. Maybe it's a pet, right? A dog that came and licked you for a second. It's time to wake up. That is support, right? The roads that
Exactly.
maybe if you're driving to get to work, to get to the cafe, those roads that you drove on or even rode the bus for to get there, that is support, right? Somebody like so when you think about it and realize that no human being can do life without support, we become very intentional also one in utilizing the support we have so we can do more and excel in what we're doing, but also like you said, so that we are well supported and have the relationship because they matter. They matter. We need those things. So thank you for bringing that to the forefront of our conversation here. So what keeps you growing? What are your favorite strategies for personal and professional development?
Okay, good question. I love that. Personal development, my favorite. I would say taking care of myself, listening to my
Yes.
body. I feel like if you don't take care of your health, you're not gonna go far, right?
Mhm.
And also too, speaking with people, having the right support system is what I mean. I know a lot of time when entrepreneurship is a lonely journey,
Mhm.
right? I think we all
Mhm.
can relate to that.
Yes.
It's very important that we have people to talk to that we feel comfortable. So having a very strong, solid community. or very strong, solid support system in terms of somebody that could be a friend or a coworker. It doesn't really matter anybody. But it's very important that we do learn how to balance our lifestyle because we need to learn that as well. And I will also say it honestly, truly, technology, right? I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to really learn about how technology works. There's so many things that's going on, especially AI now, and people get overwhelmed, right? And so I know that if I want to scale my business, I have to learn certain tools. I know that. But I know that it's going to take time for me. So being patient with yourself, right? Because if you're not patient with yourself, your business is not going to go well. Your life is not going to go well. Then you're going to crash. And that's why I'm super big on mental health, personal growth, self-care, because you do need, your body is your number one priority. And I feel like a lot of us don't focus on that. They just more go, go, go because of this backtrack society, the new norm now. And I said, no, I don't believe in that myself. My business didn't fully pick up until after 2 years, because I kept taking my time, learned about different things, continue networking. Networking is a huge strategy that I use, like I keep talking about on the podcast. It's networking, right? Build relationship with people. Take your time. And I tell people, take your time building relationship with people because, like they always say, people can show something offline so quickly, but when you get to know them, you're like, yeah, no, I'm grateful that I got to know you, but we can't do business together. So that's how it works. So that is definitely my strategy.
Yeah. No, I love that strategy. And from what you're just sharing, it's not always one thing, right? It's taking care of ourselves so we can do well, physically be well enough to do the things we're passionate about, but also that networking so we continue to, find more opportunities, right? And keeping fueling yourself, filling and fueling yourself with things that helps you grow, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, right? And I think it takes a growth mindset to realize I'm not going to be stagnant. I have to keep moving. And what do I need in this season of my life to get to the next level? And when we get to the next level, it's the same question. Okay, what do I need in this at this level to get to the next one? And that, definitely those are the ways that we keep growing. So thank you for sharing that. You do so much, to support others and to make a change, make an impact, in this world. How can we support you?
I would say the way to support me is by, following me on social media, buying my books. I do have my very first book. It's called Every Day I Am Just Up. And the good thing is it's a poem book. It's not a chapter book. So who does not love poem books? Come on now. So it's a poem book. I would love everybody to go on Amazon to purchase it just to get like a perspective of what it's like to be deaf in the hearing community. It's very unique, it's different. I had so many great feedback on my books. A lot of people loved it. So yeah, so that's how people can support me. But also too, I tell people in great ways to support the deaf community is to learn the basic sign language. Just the basic, hi, how are you? Thank you, you're welcome. The basic thing. Because you never know who you're gonna meet, right?
Yes, so true, so true. And I think that, my daughter's been trying to get me to do that as well. And I'm aiming to be learning at least one new sign a week. And I mess up the signs and it's a mess, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah. So thank you again. Thank you so much for being here, for making time to connect with us and share about, yourself and what you do. And where can we find you? Or no, whether you contact info, your social media handle, we'll share for those listening, watching. We will share her bio with the links, but I also want you to just share out loud as well.
Yeah, so everybody can find me on my website, kellinaempowerment.com. Or if you want to reach out to me on social media, please put podcast so I know it's you that you heard from me on the podcast just because there's so many messages, you guys, okay? So you can find me on Instagram, Deaf Queen Boss, LinkedIn as well. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can look me up, Kellina Powell, and Facebook too. Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll put all those links there. So thank you again for everyone listening. Please share this out. Sharing is caring. And the more we share, we get to introduce, the guests on this podcast, introduce them to the world, but they also bring people in here because they're great resources for others others as well. So share to any and everyone. And so we can continue, again, build those connections, build those network opportunities, and continue to make an impact in this world. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for listening. Go out there and be great.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou Allegra on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time, take care and keep striving for well-being and belonging in all areas of your life.